Coming up on today's show, Warner Brothers and DC gave us a first look at Gotham Knights Suicide Squad game, also in the mix. Microsoft is heating things up with the Apple and Epic saga, and we've got some juicy new Nintendo rumors and more. What's good, everybody, and welcome to another episode of What's Good Games Podcast, your source for video game news, commentary, analysis, and funny stuff every Monday morning, right here on twitch.tv/What's Good Games. I'm Andrea Renee, joined by Miss Brittany Brombacher.
Hello, Andrea Renee.
Oh, hi, Brittany. Look, Joey Noelle from Kinda Funny is here.
Joey!
Joey!
Thanks for having me. This is so fun.
I'm so glad that we were able to get you on the show. We had the pleasure of seeing Joey over the weekend. We were shooting our special PAX Online panel.
Ooh, hey!
That was fun, too.
I'm excited for everyone to watch that.
Yes, that is going live on Monday, September 14th at 11:45 a.m. If you guys missed the announcement over at What's Good_Games on Twitter. But PAX is happening, and it's all virtual.
It's like a week long.
It's like 9 days long, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a week and some change. I think 9 days sounds right.
That is crazy.
24/7.
Yeah.
Too.
But we took your questions, and it was fun. We chatted about games we're looking forward to and a bunch of other stuff, and hopefully you guys will join us for that. We'll be co-streaming it along with the PAX official channel, and we have some other big streams coming up this week. On Thursday, Britt, you are teaming up once again with the lovely Zombie Kills.
I am so excited. So excited. Yeah, so we're going to be live streaming our reactions to Opening Night Live. So make sure you stop by twitch.tv/What's Good Games at 10:45 a.m., where hopefully all technology gods will be on my side that day. Last time they were really good. They were really helpful. So hopefully they're feeling nice and generous again.
I think that you'll do just fine. You guys crushed it last time. I'll be lurking in the chat as always because I'm going to be prepping for another appearance on Twitch Gaming's The Weekly, which will be happening immediately following Opening Night Live. So when you guys are done watching that with Britt and Zombie, hopefully you can pop on over to twitch.tv/Twitch Gaming and watch me host The Weekly, which should be lots of fun. And then we also have our regular stream. So tonight, Ree and I are streaming. Wednesday, I'll be back. And if you guys missed our Patreon streams from over the weekend, you can, of course, catch those archives at patreon.com/What's Good Games. It was some fun ones. We played a lot of Fall Guys. I got another crown.
Ooh,
you did.
Exciting.
Yeah, and it didn't look like you were going to get that crown because there were 3 Fall Guys ahead of you. But
it's true.
We're like, Andrea, believe in yourself. We believe in you. And you got it. That was the first crown I've ever seen grabbed in my life.
Oh,
Which isn't
really?
really that dramatic.
Oh, I'm glad it was your first. That's
really
exciting.
Fun, though. We played Fall Guys for what, like 3 hours?
Gosh.
Yeah, well, we were playing with our patrons, and we were having a couple difficulties getting people in and out of games because of friend and privacy settings, which, you know, is a thing that happens. So we did eventually get everybody in and played games with folks, so that was a lot of fun. Yeah. But enough with our announcements because boy, oh boy, do we have a ton of news to talk about today. So we're going to go ahead and kick things off with a little bit of a recap from DC Fandome. So if you guys missed it, if you were off social media all weekend, Warner Brothers and DC had their big fan event, and they showed a ton of stuff. There was a lot of TV and movie things, but there also were some game reveals that we had been highly anticipating. We got a first look at Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, but the one that I'm very excited about, and we're going to start with, is Gotham Knights. So this is details directly from the press release from Warner Brothers. Gotham Knights is in development, and it is a brand new open world third-person action RPG video game. That is a lot of descriptive words. So I am going to go ahead and show you guys a little bit of this trailer. So not only did they do a cinematic trailer, but they also did a really nice gameplay walkthrough, which is something that I was not anticipating us getting right away. So I was pumped that we got to see this. So some more details about this game. We knew it was in development from Warner Brothers Montreal. That was confirmed, and it features the Batman family as players step into the role of Batgirl, Nightwing, Red Hood and Robin, a new guard of trained DC superheroes who must rise up as the protectors of Gotham City in the wake of Batman's death. So that's what we're seeing in this trailer right here is the opening where Batman's like, yo, if you're watching this, I'm dead. And now it's up to you to protect Gotham. So this is an original story set in DC's Batman universe, and Gotham Knights is going to offer a dynamic and interactive Gotham City where an exploding criminal element has swept through the streets. With the Belfry as their base of operations, a new era of heroes will solve mysteries that connect the darkest chapters in the city's history, where they must defeat notorious villains in epic confrontations. Boy, oh boy, you gotta love a good press release. Players must save Gotham from a descent into chaos and reinvent themselves into their own version of the Dark Knight. It's playable solo or as two-player online co-op, and it's going to be available in 2021 for PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 4 Pro, the Xbox One family of devices, including the Xbox Series X and the Xbox One X and PC.
Ooh.
So what do you think, ladies?
Is Batman really dead?
I think so. I think it's like
really,
confirmed.
really.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
6 feet under, worm fodder, flowers are sprouting out of his body. Okay.
Well, I feel like he's not. I feel like there's something going on. I don't know. I feel like with all of these games, deaths aren't as permanent as they are in real life. So maybe some fun twist in the third act.
I see.
So there has been some fan speculation, Joey. You are correct that they're going to pull a fast one and bring Batman back at some point. I don't know if that's the case, but I honestly think it would be smart of them to, because as cool as this trailer is, and I'm going to get to the gameplay in just a second, I think there's no disputing that Batman is DC's star child, right? Like he is the guy that brings all the boys to the yard.
Yeah.
But were your kind of first impressions of this announcement?
I loved it. I wasn't really keeping up with like all the rumors and stuff like this on this game. I was just like stoked to see whatever we were going to get. So the fact that Barbara Gordon is playable is very exciting because I love her. This outfit that is like very similar to the Babs Tarr outfit from the comics looks really good. And I think it's fun that they're bringing in all of these other side characters because it's Nightwing and everybody really likes Dick Grayson, Jason Todd. And then I don't know, do you know if they've like confirmed which maybe they have, which Robin it is?
I haven't looked at those specific details, but I'm sure that DC boys and fangirls of the world have gone over this frame by frame and looked at every single piece of minutia that is available in these trailers.
Yeah. The gameplay looks really fun. I'm glad that there's also an option for solo playthrough, because sometimes it's hard, especially when it's only 2 people, if you're trying to play through with like one specific person, to find the time to do it. So a little solo playthrough will be fun. I don't know. All of this looks really exciting to me.
I think it looks fun too. And I'm so happy Joey's here to talk with Andrea about this, because I admittedly know nothing about any of this stuff. Superheroes have just never really been my thing. It's like trees. But what I think looks really exciting is the fact that it is co-op. And I do enjoy these superhero type games. I liked Arkham Asylum. I liked Arkham City. You know, I like that aspect of it. I like learning about the new enemies and like the lore behind them just from what you get from the in-game codexes and whatnot. And the fact that it's co-op too sounds fun. I mean, the characters themselves don't really do anything for me, because obviously I know who Robin and Batgirl is and whatnot. But other than that, yeah, like, cool. I'm sold. I've seen enough. Like, I'll definitely give it a shot.
Yeah, I think that there was a lot of excitement for this online, which I absolutely understand. I mean, there's a long history of Arkham games, and obviously this is definitely in the style of the Arkham series. We know that Warner Brothers Montreal worked on Origins. Like, clearly Origins was kind of looked at as like the black sheep of the Arkham family, though there are people that defend it very vehemently, which, you know, I think is their right. I think there's no question that it had a couple of issues that fans are hoping that Warner Brothers Montreal is going to address, and maybe what I had tweeted would learn from kind of what are some of the lessons learned from the development cycle of Origins to what they're going to bring into Gotham Knights. I think it's great that, you know, the co-op is there. It's something we certainly haven't seen before. I'm going to be interested to see how that's going to work from a leveling perspective. I think that's kind of like the big question mark for me, is how are these RPG elements going to work? I watched a couple YouTubers talking about the comparisons of this game to other superhero games. Obviously, the one-to-one comparison against Avengers was widely out there, but these are completely different games. And I think the fact that this is open world and Avengers is a hub world where you go out on separate missions, where here you get to traverse the open world with your co-op partner is a gigantic difference. And having 4 people versus 2 people is also a big difference. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to support this long term, especially knowing that Suicide Squad is also an online co-op game, which we're going to get to in just a second. But I thought all of this footage looked great.
So it sounds like the Robin is Tim. Does that make sense to y'all? Tim Drake? Okay, cool.
Yes.
Cool. Thanks, chat. You're the MVP.
Thanks for putting in the legwork for us. Yeah, open world games normally aren't my jam because I get really like overwhelmed by them. But I think for a property and like that I love and being able to go through it with somebody else, I think is going to make it really enticing for me.
Yeah, I agree. I'm excited to see more. I'm excited to get hands-on. I really love the Arkham series. I don't particularly gravitate towards the super dark, gritty world of Gotham as a setting, but I really enjoyed my time with all of the Arkham games. So yeah, excited to see more. Next up is Suicide Squad. So this is another press release that Warner Brothers sent over, and I'm going to pull up this footage. This was a much different tone in the fact that we didn't get any gameplay, really. This is all just a really fancy cinematic trailer, which I think serves a purpose as well, but I was a little disappointed that we didn't get more from it. So let's go ahead and take a look at this press release. A new genre-bending action-adventure shooter. So it's a genre-bending action-adventure shooter that can be played solo or up to 4 players in online co-op. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League combines the studio's signature character-driven story gameplay with third-person shooter action, and it's available in 2022 on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and PC. So already a big change there. They're not even attempting to do cross-gen. They're like, this is purely going to be next gen. That is it. I think that's smart of Rocksteady to do. Featuring an original narrative set in the DC universe, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League takes place in a detailed open world metropolis. The story follows Suicide Squad members Harley Quinn, Deadshot, Captain Boomerang, and King Shark, who must take on an impossible mission to save Earth and kill the world's greatest DC superheroes, the Justice League. Restrained with lethal explosives implanted in their heads, all 4 DC supervillains have no choice but to band together and carry out this untenable assignment as part of Amanda Waller's infamous Task Force X. Fans can tailor their experience, whether playing on their own as single player, switching between characters at will, or teaming up with friends in multiplayer co-op. Playable characters featured in Kill the Justice League, of course, as I mentioned, Harley Quinn, aka Dr. Harley Quinzel, the Mistress of Mayhem, Deadshot, aka Floyd Lawton, the most extraordinaire. Wait, no, that's the wrong line. The most dangerous marksman. That's what I meant to read. Captain Boomerang, a.k.a. Digger Harkness, Aussie Assassin Extraordinaire. That's what I meant to read there. And, of course, King Shark, a.k.a. How do you say that? Nanua?
Nano.
Maybe Chat can give us a phonetic pronunciation of his alias. The demigod, humanoid, shark, and rightful ruler of the seas. Each squad member has their own unique moveset, enhanced travel abilities, traversal abilities, and, of course, a variety of weapons to customize and skills to master. So, I thought that this trailer was super cool. I have absolutely, no, burning excitement and desire to play as literally any of these characters, with the exception of maybe Harley.
Hello, have you seen Mr. Sharkman over there?
Yes, I
King
have.
Shark. That's what I'm all about. I don't know who this character demigod is. Again, I'm not familiar with this fandom at all, but he looks fucking awesome, and I think I want to be a shark. Mr. Shark Friend. Mr. Shark Friend. Okay, so how do you ladies feel about this? This just seems like has this been done before? It's I guess what I'm getting at here. Is this new territory? I know they're calling it a genre-bending action-adventure shooter, but in terms of the story goes, going against Superman and whatnot, it just seems a little odd.
Well, so it's following the New 52, right? Is that correct, Joey?
I have no idea where in the
comic timeline, the Justice League breaks bad, because I think it has to do with Brainiac's
must be a comic
storyline, right? Of how he
storyline,
like
yeah.
infiltrates the Justice League and turns them all evil. I get that that's part of like the deep comic lore. I think it's a weird choice for such an amazing studio to go with their big blockbuster AAA that they're going to do it where they're killing the Justice League, who are like the heroes. Obviously, Superman being a bad boy in this scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is in comparison with the other game, I was way more excited about Gotham Knights than I was about this. I think I feel a little bit burned on Suicide Squad, obviously from the movie. So I just am not as excited about that group of characters as I have been in the past.
Yeah.
Granted, it's always going to be different in game form, but I don't know. I feel like we got kind of this similar vibe in DC Marvel supervillains a couple years ago, where you're like all of these supervillains and you have to go like save the world because the superheroes aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. So it feels like a little bit retreaded, at least for me on that. And maybe that's just because I started replaying that like a few weeks ago because I was looking for a new game. But I'm excited to see what they do with it. I'm definitely going to give it a shot, but this isn't probably on my like most anticipated games list.
Yeah, same. And I think that Rocksteady clearly has a pedigree, and they have proven that they make great, gritty narratives in awesome open world situations. But there's just something about the narrative of the Suicide Squad that I'm just like, I'm having trouble latching onto.
Yeah. I don't know. It is kind of nice, I guess, that we'll be able to have like a really dark version of Gotham Knights, and then like this really fun kind of lighthearted balance. So not everything in the DC world is always that like really color graded dark vibe.
That's fair,
but,
yeah.
I don't know. I'm interested to see what gameplay looks like. It's hard to be super on board for this game without knowing what gameplay is going to be like.
Yeah, I have to imagine it's going to look like a really shinier, fancier version of the Arkham series as far as like the third person combat. But because it's a shooter and it's not hand to hand, that will be, I think, the part that I'm interested to see how Rocksteady is going to implement that. Obviously, there were some gadgets that acted like shooters in the Arkham series, but I haven't seen, we don't have like guns, right? It's like, it's a very different place from when the last Arkham game came out. Because by the time Suicide Squad releases, it will have been 7 years between Rocksteady's releases, which is kind of crazy to think about.
Oh man. Yeah. I guess. Yeah. It's weird to think about what an Arkham game with like full gunplay would look like. Because it's just not at all what
those heroes are about. Yeah. Because the whole idea is like Batman was supposed to be non-lethal, right? And there were some questions about that, even with Gotham Knights, like how are they going to do all of these different gadgets that shoot people? Because it sure looks like they're beating those guys up pretty good.
It's going to be hard to recover from those injuries, but who knows?
Yeah. All right. Well, that is going to be our recap for the game part of DC Fandome. Of course, they had lots of trailers out as well. I tweeted asking you guys to let me know which trailers I should go watch first, and the overwhelming response was, everybody go watch The Batman. So, Joey, I know you have thoughts on The Batman.
I do. I'm really excited for it. Robert Pattinson, I remember when he first got announced, was such like an interesting choice because everybody's like, the Twilight guy.
The vampire.
The sparkly vampire is going to do it. But he's done some like really interesting roles since then, so I have full confidence that he'll be able to put on a good performance for this. The thing that I'm really interested in is what kind of like Bruce Wayne he's going to be, because we saw in the trailer like a lot of his like very brooding, lots of eyeliner Batman. But his take on Bruce Wayne as like the Playboy millionaire, I think is going to be way more emo than that. So I think that'll be fun. There were some screenshots going around of what is supposed to be Colin Farrell as the Penguin, and he looks recognizable. Like absolutely doesn't look.
Oh,
anything
let me
like
see if
Colin
let me see if
Farrell.
I can find these screenshots.
It's crazy. It almost looks like a weird like current Val Kilmer cameo. But I was like shocked when I saw tweets going out about it. Like, man, didn't even for 1 second think that it was him. I'm really excited for what's his name? Jeffrey something, sorry. Who's gonna be playing Gordon.
Okay, so this is what I found.
Yeah, that's supposed to be him. I don't like that. It seems like that's a totally different person.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't look like, I mean, I wouldn't look at this and go, that's Colin Farrell. So that's some really great makeup work.
Thank you, chat. Jeffrey Wright. He seems like he's going to be great. I'm like, all of this is going to be, I'm very excited for this. Can't believe we have to wait so long.
When's it coming out?
I don't even know.
They're not even done
shooting
shooting yet. They've only shot like 30% of the movie.
Oh.
Everything's getting pushed, so I feel like I'm not even keeping up with.
Because they said exclusively in theaters.
Yeah.
Which indicates that they're going to hold this movie until it's safe to go back to movie theaters.
Right now, it's looking like an October 1st, 2021 release date, which seems a little early in terms of if they're not even able to go back to shooting yet.
Yeah, it's just getting the film done.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
But I'm really excited. We get Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman.
That's probably the thing I'm most excited for.
Yeah, she seems like, I don't know. That's like a really fun role to put her in. And then Paul Dano as Riddler, which I know has been like Barrett's fan casting for like years. But it's like a very interesting group of actors that I wouldn't have necessarily put together for this, but just listening to Matt Reeves talk about it before the trailer on Saturday was like, he cares about this so much. And like, I feel like that's really all you can ask for is that passion. And it's like, you know that he really wants to get it right. And I have strong feelings that he will. Please don't burn me. Like I got, man.
So it looks like Bensonite in the chat says that filming resumed in England this week. Yasmin is talking about a clue from the trailer. And hello, Slayer. We're glad that you love the podcast. Well, thanks for the recap, Joey. I guess you gave me a lot more details about what's happening with that movie than I was anticipating. Thank you.
That's for my Saturday.
Well, I think Batman is one of those characters that we were mentioning with Gotham Knights that just really rallies the DC fan base. So if you guys are interested and you haven't seen it yet, it is a pretty great trailer, so you can go ahead and check it out. But we're going to continue on because we still have lots more news to get through. And our next story is once again an update in the ongoing saga between Epic and Apple. Britt, would you like to read this one?
It never ends. It never ends. All right, so this is via BBC. Microsoft backs Epic in court filing. Apple pulled hugely popular game Fortnite from its App Store after Epic deliberately broke its rules in protest at Apple's policies. In an escalation, Apple then said it would pull Epic's access to developer tools on iOS and Mac. But Microsoft said this would damage a critical technology for many third-party game creators. That is because Epic also owns the Unreal Engine, a tool widely used by developers from other studios to build games, virtual reality VR experiences, and special effects in major television shows and films. Microsoft uses the technology itself. Xbox head Phil Spencer tweeted, "Ensuring that Epic has access to the latest Apple technology is the right thing for game developers and gamers. Epic has objected to what it calls a monopoly in the Apple Store, specifically the 30% cut Apple demands from in-game purchases. Microsoft said denying Epic access to Apple's developer tools would, quote, prevent Epic from supporting Unreal Engine on iOS and macOS and will place Unreal Engine and those game creators that have built, are building, and may build games on it at a substantial disadvantage. Apple's discontinuation of Epic's ability to develop and support Unreal Engine for iOS or macOS will harm game creators and gamers," it added. Apple, however, Joey is highlighting the text, and it's fucking with me, man.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
I was going to say something, and then I was like, oh my gosh.
I totally forgot that this is a shared document, and I was just like, that's what I do to like do something with my hands.
Apple Continuing on, I love you. Apple, however, says it applies the rules equally and, quote, won't make an exception for Epic because we don't think it's right to put their business interests ahead of the guidelines that protect our customers, ... However, Microsoft also runs the Windows and Xbox stores where it takes 15 to 30% cut of software sales depending on the platform, according to its developer agreements.
That's to me like the interesting wrinkle about this, and why I think it's weird that Microsoft is like throwing their weight behind Epic. It's like, yo, Microsoft, you do the exact same thing. Like,
yeah.
what?
But Tim Sweeney has said that it's different for consoles, remember?
Right,
So
but like consoles, but the Microsoft Store is on PC platforms, and they also have their own Android marketplace as well for Windows Phone. I just like, sure,
It's a
like
weird gang up.
it feels symbolic, of course, but it's also like this is just another like tip of the hypocrisy hat. Like, what the heck? I don't understand. Just like let Apple and Epic have their fight. Unless you're coming out to say that you're going to join Epic Games in reducing the commission that the Microsoft marketplaces across all suites of devices are doing, then I don't understand how this is supposed to be as symbolic as you're making it out to be. Like if that had been the announcement, if Phil Spencer or even like Satya Nadella, like the CEO of Microsoft, had come out and said, we really feel strongly about this. We want to stand with Epic Games against Apple in solidarity. We are announcing that we're reducing the platform fees to blah, 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 whatever they're going to reduce it to. That, I think, would have been huge. It would have been really cool news. But that's not what they did.
It just keeps going. And then there was the other thing, how Apple has responded, said that Epic requested a special deal. There was an email leaked or whatever. Tim Sweeney responded and says, look at my email. This is not what I wanted. Because Apple's saying that Tim Sweeney wanted a special deal all for themselves, and Apple's like, haha, this is bad man, and Tim's like, no, I'm not. And then Fortnite, Epic turned its legal dispute into an in-game event. This is via IGN, and apparently now you can win an Apple costume if you eat enough apples, and if you, I'm trying to, okay, player, if there's a competition, right? there's a competition going on right now, and I'm trying to figure out how you win it. Either way, they're sending out free Fortnite hats, which is a black hat, and it says free Fortnite in white font. And then there's an outline of the animal, the pinata,
the
llama.
The donkey,
llama,
right?
Thank you. The llama.
Oh, the llama.
Yeah,
it's a llama. Loot box llama. Yeah.
Loot box llama. And then it's in the colors of the old Apple logo. Remember, it was all those rainbowy colors?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
It's just fucking hilarious at this point. And I'll say it again, let those rich fuckers fight. I'm just sitting back with my popcorn, watching these fools go at it. Like I said, at the end of the day, it would be great if Apple would, do something about the revenue split. Absolutely. But there's just so much that is going on behind the scenes that I think that a lot of people, we see it, but I think a lot of folks don't really understand what's really happening in terms of how the fans, I feel like, are being manipulated and how this whole thing is being branded, that it just feels kind of dirty to me. Anyway, every day it's a new saga, a new entry in this saga.
What are we going to get next?
I don't know. Probably news that Apple won the lawsuit, and then Epic is going to have to run with its tail between its legs because it can't leave all of its developers in the lurch.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Even if they have to run away with their tail between their legs, they're still going to look like good guy Epic who fought the good fight, right?
Yeah. Like the David and Goliath scenario, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. How long is this going to get dragged out? It feels like this is going to become the new ongoing saga, like a move over Billy and Donkey Kong high scores. it's now Apple versus Epic. Epic?
Security says the Fortnite competition for winning that stuff ended yesterday. So it sounds like you can no longer win the things. But either way, it's just a little jab, a little like LOL. Free Fortnite. Fortnite's free. Fortnite isn't.
Moving on to the next story, we've got an update on the Lord of the Rings Gollum. So this was interesting because I think people were maybe expecting this to happen in DC Fandome because this is the Warner Brothers property, but because it was DC, it was all DC stuff, and Lord of the Rings is obviously its very own fandom and very own franchise, but they still announced it. So I'm going to show you guys a little bit of this teaser trailer. So Lord of the Rings Gollum is a stealthy narrative adventure for Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5. It has been announced. Of course, we already knew that you would be playing as Smeagol / Gollum. We're going to explore a new story in parallel with Frodo's, albeit on a different side of Middle-earth entirely. You'll make decisions that align with one of the characters' personas as they fight for control, influencing some visual changes and branching storylines as you progress. Quote, the decisions you make affect the way the game feels, explained lead narrative designer Tillman Shannon in an interview with IGN. You'll always either play as Smeagol or as Gollum as the dominant personality. But Gollum isn't strong, instead crafty, which will give you some opportunities to take out enemies in an otherwise predominantly stealth-focused gameplay. Some enemies can be taken down with stealth attacks or lured into dangerous parts of the environment, some of which might feature familiar characters that can aid Gollum on his journey. Joey, stop highlighting the text.
I know I hit my hand on the keyboard as soon as I realized I was doing it.
It's a mostly non-combat game, but Gollum will be able to stealthily take out enemies. But this is not always going to be as easy and sometimes comes with risk. So it sounds like it's going to be more of like a risk-reward kind of situation. The Lord of the Rings Gollum is set to launch sometime in 2021, exclusively for next-gen consoles and PC. Gameplay is going to be shown in 21, according to developer Daedalic Entertainment.
Nope.
So this was a very short teaser that we got. And it's obviously cinematic. But at least we know that like it's in development. I think this is an interesting take. Gollum is such a weird character to pick, to highlight. I just want another like co-op Lord of the Rings game. Is that so much to ask?
That was a good game.
I totally missed that this was even happening. Like, apparently, there's been like multiple announcements of this, right? If this is now a teaser trailer, totally missed this.
It was first announced last year at some point. I don't remember when we first covered this, but like the whole news around this game felt like it was really under the radar, and I think we were a little concerned having it come from Daedalic. Not that Daedalic is a bad developer by any means, but I think, you think Lord of the Rings, especially in the wake of Amazon's giant Lord of the Rings series that they're doing, that maybe it would have just been a developer that is a little bit more well-known in the AAA development scene specifically.
I'm someone who likes to keep an open mind. There are a lot of games that even if they don't appeal to me at first, I want to try them out. I can say with 100% confidence, I don't want to play this. This is 100% not my jam. Gollum makes me feel physically repulsed. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the stringy, nasty ass hair. Maybe it's the eyes that are the size of mugs. I don't know. But all I know is take that with stealth gameplay, and you have my two most disliked things. So I'm saying thanks, but no thanks. Andrea, I hope you have a lovely time, and I'm looking forward to your coverage in 2021.
Thanks. It was interesting in the chat. Bebo says, I couldn't think of a Lord of the Rings character I want to play less than Gollum. I mean, of all the characters to pick from, he's definitely at the bottom of the list.
Why?
Yeah, I'm kind of with Brittany. This isn't really doing anything for me. I'm not a huge Lord of the Rings person. I've only ever seen the first one, and I definitely fell asleep in it.
No, Joey, Fellowship is one of the best ones, though.
I've tried probably 3 times, and I've fallen asleep in it all 3 times. I'm not a huge high fantasy person either, so I feel like that's kind of the 1-2 punch of it. And yeah, stealth gameplay. Not my strength.
Not for you. That's fair.
But I will watch you play this because I am curious. So this seems like one that I'll watch somebody stream.
Yeah. Well, at least you know what you like. Speaking of knowing what you like, Brittany, it's your bae.
It's my day, Yakuza Like a Dragon release date. Although this day had leaked a while ago, but it's now official. Okay, so yeah, Yakuza Like a Dragon will launch on November 13th, 2020 on Xbox One X, Xbox One, Windows 10, PS4, and Steam. Yakuza Like a Dragon will also be available on the Xbox Series X console on day 1 of its release, as well as PlayStation 5 at a later date. An experience like no other, Yakuza Like a Dragon brings dynamic RPG gameplay to the streets of Yokohama, Japan, with an adventure that combines the intense brawls that the Yakuza series has been known for, with the strategic depths, party customization, and massive variety of skills that you expect from a classic RPG. In the video, we see Ichiban Kasuga, the first main new protagonist in the history of the mainline Yakuza series, alongside some of his loyal party members, Nanba, Saiko, and Adachi, as they swap between just a few of the 20-plus unique jobs available throughout the game. In what can only be described as a meta worldview, Ichiban envisions himself as the lead character in an RPG, and his ensuing skirmishes take on the form of turn-based battles. If you've ever wanted to don a chef's hat and sprinkle enemies with a dash of pepper to finish them off in style, we're happy to say that no game other than Yakuza Like a Dragon will offer you that experience. Look
the gameplay of him cracking the pepper on the guy. Oh my god.
Look how brilliant! And there's a what's that crustacean, that like crab thing?
Lobster?
I don't know if it's a lobster, what it is, but it's a summon. Like you can summon. Look at this. How can you not just be so? How can your panties not be in a twisted, most pleasurable bundle right now? Like I don't understand. I don't get it. Like how could you not just want that all over your face? I'm so excited, obviously, and it just looks so silly. And so obviously, like excitement aside. Obviously, there is some marketing deals going on with Xbox, and some PlayStation fans aren't very happy because they're like, yo, this game was only on PlayStation for the longest time, and now you're snuffing the PlayStation 5. Oh, no. You'll still get it on PlayStation 4. This is what happens, and just be excited that Yakuza is getting money. We want this game to be in more hands, and we want it to spread wider in this Western audience. So if this helps them get off the ground, this helps them sell more copies, like you'll still get your copy. Just be happy. Be happy for RGG Studio. Oh my God. It looks so good.
I mean, color me intrigued with the cracking of the pepper. I went back to the trailer so I could watch this one more time.
Oh yeah. Look at that. Look at that.
What?
RPG insanity is the perfect.
Yeah, I mean, Yakuza has, oh my, he's hitting them with soup ladles. Oh my goodness. This might be the first Yakuza game that I play, Britt.
Ooh.
Yeah, I hope you do. It's so funny to me because it makes, of course, the one you play is the one that has all the RPG elements, but that's okay. That's fine. I think the idea.
Wait, what does that mean?
Because you don't play turn-based RPGs.
That's true. Did they say it's turn-based?
I think it is turn-based.
Well, then maybe
Either
I'll have
way,
to reconsider.
I've admittedly been staying away from some of the finer details because I want to go into this thing surprised as I possibly can be. So I'm not entirely sure on how that works. But yeah, they also have lobster summons where you can summon a giant lobster. And I think it even has a name.
Nice.
I like how, like, just with a straight face, Britt was able to say that. Like, just a standard lobster summon.
Absolutely. I mean, oh yeah, I'm just so excited. Plus, we get some cameos from our Kiryu Majima boys. Oh. Some people have been asking also, is this a good game to jump into? And I honestly don't know the answer to that. So I'm seeing some folks say, like, yes, because it is a whole new cast. And then some others are saying, like, well, you can, but just understand that this doesn't necessarily encompass, obviously it encompasses the craziness of the franchise, but not necessarily the gameplay and some of the main characters that a lot of us have grown to know and love. But I would say, yeah, I think this is probably a good jumping in point. There probably will be some story spoilers because this is a continuation in a sense. But anyway, I digress. I could be here all day. Very exciting. Let's go.
Well, I'm happy that you're happy, and also happy that Zombie Kills is in the chat. What up, girl?
Yes.
I'm excited that you're going to be back on the channel. I feel like now, if you do one more stream when I'm not there, that you're intentionally avoiding me.
Ooh.
But we love you, and we're glad that you're back. We're going to get to this last news story because we do have some questions for Dear WGG. Don't forget, you can still drop us some questions in at whatsgoodgames.com/DearWGG. Nintendo rumors. So this is a continuation of a line of rumors that we've been checking in on over the last couple of months, but now it looks like there's another potential lead on this new Nintendo Switch that's potentially coming in 2021. So Game Rant has recapped this rumor for us. And they write, the rumors have been swirling for some time that Nintendo plans on releasing an upgraded version of the Nintendo Switch, some referring to it hypothetically as the Switch Pro. I'm one of those things. New evidence has surfaced to suggest that the upgraded Switch is indeed real, with production expected to start at some point later this year for a planned worldwide release in the first quarter of 2021. So this comes from a translated report from VGC and originated from a site called the Economic Daily News of all places. According to the report, sources close to the Nintendo Switch supply chain, such as third-party manufacturers, have confirmed that the new console is in development. Details on what exactly it is, of course, are scarce, but supposedly is going to have more interactivity and a higher quality screen. Now, it's unclear if it will be more powerful or play exclusive games, but that seems unlikely. So when they say exclusive games, I think they mean you can only play on the new Nintendo Switch. And you can't play on the old Nintendo Switch. Now, we did see that with the 3DS and the more powerful, but there was only a couple of games, just a small handful in the 3DS library. So not unheard of for Nintendo to do that, but I feel like this early in the Switch life cycle that would not be a good call. So I'm glad that
But they did that with the Switch Lite a little bit too, right? Because of the Joy-Cons not being able to detach. So you can't play things like Mario Party and like...
I thought you could play Mario Party, but you have to have the Pro Controller.
I don't think you can play Mario Party with the Pro Controller. I think it's Joy-Cons only.
Oh.
Which is upsetting.
Yeah, I forgot about Mario Party. But yeah, like I mentioned, like Nintendo has done this before. So if they did it again, it wouldn't be shocking. It just would be
unheard of.
It would just be in my mind like a bad business move to segregate your fan base that way. I don't know why you would.
So here we go.
Yeah,
here's an article on digital trends. These are games that don't support handheld mode. Nintendo Labo, 1-2 Switch, Super Mario Party, Just Dance, Fitness Boxing, Ring Fit Adventure. So yeah, Joey, that's right. That was a huge issue and still is a huge issue. Why?
That's a bummer.
Yeah, but this Nintendo Pro console, I feel like we've been covering for a really long time. It's interesting when they say interactivity. Like, what would that? More interactivity.
Maybe online features, like better online features might be nice.
This is Nintendo, Andrea. Come on.
Listen, a girl can dream that eventually Nintendo will catch up to where everybody else is at with online chat. Maybe.
I honestly don't know. I'm not saying that to be snarky. I just don't know if they'll ever catch up. It's Nintendo. I mean, I would obviously love to upgrade, better battery life, more high quality screen, maybe a little bit more powerful. Like, let's go. I love my Switch. But this seems like it might just be a little bit of an upgrade if these rumors are to be believed, which I feel like like I said, we've been covering for a very, very, very long time. So who could say? But here they are again. And eventually, Andrea, it all come full circle and be like, haha, it finally happened.
True. And Britt also added in a couple of details about a rumored Nintendo Direct that's happening. But it looks like it may be happening, it may not be happening.
Listen, every fucking week there's a new Nintendo Direct rumor, but I feel like this one got a little bit more traction because Jeff Grubb said, I've heard a few things and I think there's a strong possibility that there's a Nintendo Direct next week, Friday the 28th. That's the date that he had heard. And then everyone, again, to go back to my tried and true statement, their panties all got twisted in a bundle. And then he sent an upgrade out yesterday, the Sunday the 23rd, and said, everyone please tone down the expectations. And it sounds like he thinks it might be something that's not necessarily a direct, but like a spin-off. If there's another Smash Direct, so help me God. I can't take it. Ladies, it has been 354 days since we've gotten a proper Nintendo Direct.
Wait.
A proper, like, full, just plain something called a Nintendo Direct. Not an indie showcase, not a mini partner showcase, not Pokemon Direct, blah, blah. No, it was September 4th, 2019, and that's when they talked about Luigi's Mansion 2 and Pokemon Sword and Shield.
I guess they did just skip E3 altogether this year, didn't they?
Yeah, and I mean, that's not to say that we haven't gotten announcements, because obviously we have. We got the Paper Mario announcement and some other stuff as well. We got the Pokemon Direct. So we're getting like some cool little tidbits here and there, but it's been so long since we've had a nice gathering of all the Nintendo things.
A gathering of the Nintendo Council.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, maybe now is the time. I mean, next Friday is during Gamescom.
And they're not participating in Gamescom, so maybe they're going to do their own thing.
Like they always do. Mm-hmm.
Do either of you have any interest in upgrading to a new Switch, the Switch Pro or whatever they're going to call it?
I would only upgrade if it had like substantially more battery life. Like I know that the air quotes new one, like the 1.2 version of the Nintendo Switch has better battery life, but I mean like substantially better. If the screen was much better quality, that might be something I would consider. Like if it was bigger, like if it had less bezel around it, I would definitely consider that. But
I agree.
Yeah. I would like to upgrade for some cosmetic reasons. One is like my Switch screen itself has a little scratch on it. That's my fault from trying to get it in the dock.
Too. Yeah.
Yeah, I got too impatient. I was like, get in there, bitch. And then it just got scratched. And now it's like kind of, and the left Joy-Con, it doesn't, I never had the drifting problem on this one, but it clicks in there, but it's kind of loose. I'm not sure what's going on with
Mine's
that.
also loose. Yeah.
Really? Yeah, I don't know why. Cause like my dad has a Switch and his isn't that way. Who knows? Maybe we just got weird ones. Yeah, so for those little reasons, I'd like to upgrade. I just want a shinier one where I'll actually take more care of it. I'll put like a little, maybe even a screen cover on it. Who could say? Ooh. I know.
Now that there's Animal Crossing Island backups, like I feel much calmer about replacing my Switch.
I know. That was like one of the hardest decisions I had to make of like, do I want the new Animal Crossing Switch? But if we get like, I don't want to have to wait to play it until I get it because I can't restore my island. And it's stressful.
Yeah.
I do hope that this Switch Pro, if they had some like Bluetooth capabilities, so you don't have to do the weird like dongle to then play to the other thing, that would be dope. But
yeah,
I feel like that's also asking for a lot.
It's not though. It's not asking for a lot.
No, not as like a. Everybody else seems to understand this, but Nintendo, I love you. But why do you make this so difficult for us?
Cartwheels in their own universe, man. They're just out there twirling away. They're just going miles and
all
miles.
Else they're cheering with signs forever.
I know. We're the problem. Is we're like, yeah, look at those cartwheels. They're so great. Keep doing those cartwheels. We'll buy all of your cartwheels, and that's why their cartwheels never change.
Well, so you're saying it's our fault?
It is that one. Of course, we're the ones that give them all of the money. We're like, hey, that's cool. Pokemon Sword and Shield, kind of cool. Not necessarily the next generation upgrade we want, but we like it. We're going to buy so many of them that you'll have no incentive to innovate and do different things. You know, that's fine.
That's fair.
That's fine.
That's fair. Well, we could always keep our fingers crossed that maybe eventually Nintendo will catch up. Fingers crossed. All right, let's get into Dear WGG. This is where you guys...
I'm not Avril Lavigne. Sorry, Andrea, to cut you off. But Geeks Are Not in chat said, is the girl on the left Avril Lavigne?
I mean...
Hey, you, I don't like your girlfriend.
Think you need a new one.
Yeah, thank you. I was like, oh no, I'm the only one. Okay.
No, you're great. You're great. So this is where you guys become part of the show by writing to us at what'sgoodgames.com/dear-WGG. Our first question, speaking of DC Fandome, is from Excess Oddities. All right, so I remember the last time I wrote, there were mentions of the Harry Potter RPG being at DC Fandome. But I have a shit memory lately, so who knows if that's right. Now, I didn't watch DC Fandome, but a Google search has revealed that our chosen one wizard boy wasn't there. Any chances it'll be at opening night live this week? Even the tiniest of teasers would be amazing. I'm with you, Excess Oddities. I would love to see a teaser of this Harry Potter RPG. I think opening night live would be a great place to show it. If they skip opening night live, I hope, against hope, that they go to the Game Awards, which I'm realizing now is a story that we completely skipped.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, Game Awards.
Whoops. Speaking of the Game Awards, in the news this week, IGN's Ryan McCaffrey sat down with the Game Awards creator, Jeff Keighley, and executive producer, to ask him, hey, are the Game Awards still happening in 2020? TLDR, yes, they are. They are not happening in person. It's going to be digital. The quote from Mr. Keighley says, there's a lot of work, and honestly, our team is working overtime thinking of how we present this in a way that celebrates the industry in a bigger fashion. So we're going to do some live stuff. We're still hoping to do some spectacle and scale to how we do things, but we're likely not going to be able to do the traditional show this year, but it's absolutely happening for sure.
Yeah, and he's saying it will be the biggest show yet, somehow, which is cool. Great.
Yeah.
Let's go Game Awards.
Yeah. So I also hope we get a teaser. Joey, how do you feel about Harry Potter RPG?
I'm so excited for it. I can't wait. I don't know. I feel like all the little teases and leaks, and who knows if they were even leaks at this point, coming out, just makes me excited to get back into that world, because I feel like I don't know. We've gotten little teases of it with like the Lego game, and even when I was playing the like AR mobile
When we
game.
played it together, remember we would watch the 7-Eleven? Remember when I worked
would.
with you, Joey?
I know. Remember when we saw other people? We went to places. Sad. I would be so, yeah. I hope we get it sooner rather than later, because if we don't get it either this week or at Game Awards, and we have to wait till E3 next year probably to get any information, and that seems like way too long.
Yeah.
And who knows what E3 next year even looks like.
Yeah, man, I can't even imagine. Not even gonna try. But yeah, I hope we get something soon, if nothing else, just so that team can breathe a little easier knowing that the game has been revealed and they don't have to worry about another leak potentially happening. And I just want to I want to see more. I want to see more stuff. All right. Well, thank you for your question, Excess Oddities. Next question is from the Big J and BB Show. Hello, WGG ladies. Happy Monday, and hope everyone is having a great weekend. My question is for Joey: how has it been adjusting to running kind of funny stuff from home as opposed to being at the studio? Has there been positives to it? Thanks, everyone, and stay breezy.
It has been a process. I do have to give major props to Kevin, who within 24 hours was able to flip everybody to a work from home setup. I think we had one day where we didn't have video while everybody was trying to figure it out. And then I think by the second day we had video and audio. So I do have to give Kevin immense props for running around and get everybody a setup. As for positives, I do think that being able to bring in guests more easily, both because of technology and because everybody's working from home, so schedules are a little bit easier to coordinate, has been really fun. So I think we've been able to either catch up with prior hosts and friends of the show that haven't been able to come by because of conflicting travel schedules, or people that live in other places that just never make their way to California, and actually be able to collaborate with those people has been really fun. I do miss the studio, and I miss being able to just walk over to Andy's desk and talk to him about something versus having to Slack back and forth. I feel like it just kind of lengthens some processes for us. But overall, it hasn't been too bad. I just miss the social aspect of it mostly, because it's I don't know. Now we only really talk to each other about work for the most part, because you don't have those interactions in the kitchen.
Those water cooler moments, right?
Yeah.
Where
So
you're
I feel
getting coffee and, making complaints that it always seems to be you that has to fill up the Keurig machine.
Or you don't look over and see Nick playing on a keyboard trying to learn the Axel Foley theme song from Beverly Hills Cop. All those weird, dumb things that would just happen.
Yeah.
So I do miss that. So I hope we get back to it soon. But overall, it's been kind of nice. It's way quieter here. So it's a lot easier to be heads down and get stuff done, which I do appreciate on occasion, but the chaos is missed.
Yeah. The chaos is fun. Oh, and speaking of which, I completely forgot to mention this. I'm going to be on KFGD tomorrow.
Yay!
Yeah.
You and Bless, right?
Yeah, so it's going to be my first time hosting with Blessing.
Yay!
Ooh, Andrea back in the host chair.
That's right. Well, no, I think Blessing's hosting.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Actually, I should ask Greg. I feel like
ass-
Blessing is leading the show.
I would assume so,
which
too.
I'm actually very much okay with. I'm fine for him to
Less
take
work
the reins.
for you.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
just get to show up and Blessings hosting, so you don't have to do any work.
Yeah.
Well, pre-work. But
He's gonna anchor it. But yeah, I'm with you. I think what's interesting for what's good is that we're already doing all of the work from home because Brittany lives in Washington and I was in San Francisco and Steimer was down here in LA. And now that I'm here, obviously I get to see Steimer, but I remember when that month happened and everybody was scrambling, and I just tried to be an available resource for people. I was like, please just call me. We've been doing this really tough conference production since the beginning of What's Good. We have so many lessons learned, and it just felt like everyone was in the middle of the tire fire of trying to get it started. And we did have a couple people reach out to me to ask me for some things, but it seems like everyone just tried to go it on their own. But it's been really fun watching everybody kind of pivot and make it work. And as you mentioned, Joy, the flexibility to be able to get more people on the show because no one's going anywhere has been great.
so fun.
Yeah. Britt, how do you feel about being home all the time? You were always bopping around to places.
Yeah. No, I was going to ask you this, Joey. I think Andrea and I have talked about this at length about how while we absolutely miss, like, it's weird, right? Because March and April were going to be some of the busiest months for us. We had so many events lined up back to back. And not to mention, then you go from those events right into con season. And I mean, con season was already starting to go underway. Anyway, I remember it was so rare for Andrea and I to have a week at home or 2 weeks at home where we were like, okay, we're just like home. What is this? Oh, it feels kind of nice. And so obviously, like, I was sick when I first got back from PAX, and that's when the quarantine stuff all started. So for a while, I was like, oh, wow, like, okay, cool. Like, I'm chill. I feel recharged. So Joey, like, how has your stress level been? You know, like, how have you felt now that you're home? And I know you just moved recently, I feel like, but you know, now that you're not traveling as much, or how is that all going?
So I feel like at the beginning of all of this, I was at like maximum stress level of like, what's work going to be like? And what's the world like? And like there were so many unknowns at the beginning, but then that was matched with like my total contentness of being home because I had Animal Crossing finally. So it's like oh, cool. Now I don't have to make up excuses for why I don't want to go out and see people because I want to stay home and play Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
So that kind of like balanced me out a little bit. And now since I've I feel like I don't have to play daily Animal Crossing anymore. I can kind of pop in when I get the itch for it. Now I am kind of getting a little bit restless of like, okay, like this has been really fun and I've caught up on a lot of TV shows and played a lot of games, but like I miss traveling and seeing friends and just being able to like go get drinks or dinner or something like that.
Yeah.
So I am getting like a little bit restless. I do have to say that like this is the best possible living situation I could have had for it. Because I do live with Tim and Gia and Cool Greg. So it's like we all kind of separate during the day as we're working, and then we come together like for a little bit at lunch, and then we're all like kind of cooking or eating dinner at the same time. So it feels like kind of a little bit like normal, because we did hang out so much even before. But it is just like, what about all of my internet friends that I was looking forward to seeing like a few times a year that I could count on?
Yeah.
Like all of that stuff. And even just like weekend trips and like canceled bachelorette parties of like friends I hadn't seen in a long time. It's like, like
Canceled
these are all
weddings, all those kind of family gatherings. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, I'm definitely bumming that we were supposed to be going to PAX this week or next week. And, you know, we're not going to Seattle.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like I feel like we all finally got that hard reset that I honestly don't know if we would have gotten without a literal pandemic. Yeah. But it's, you know, it's interesting. It's like, okay, I think let's go. Like, let's keep going. Like, I mean, in the sense of like, let's go do the things that we were going to do before all this shit happened. But now it's like, no, you're really like literally forced. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't do those things.
It's crazy how, I mean, I definitely agree that a lot of people got a hard reset, but I feel like I know parents especially have been under way more stress since the pandemic than they were previously because of the childcare situation and school and having to do from home schooling and trying to work from home, a lot of parents. And it's just like the amount of stress is like an all-time high. So I'm hoping people, including everybody watching the show and listening, have been able to find, you know, a stress reliever, whether it is decorating in Animal Crossing or whether it's exercise, if that's your thing, or maybe you took up like knitting or painting or drinking. You know, maybe you're just drinking more as Brittany holds her whiskey to the camera. That, you know, you found something to decompress that's helping you cope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to take the little moments when you can get them. Sometimes it's not like a whole day to yourself or a whole evening. It's like, I have 10 free minutes and I'm just going to appreciate these.
Joey, yes, the little wins. You're like, hey, I got up and put clothes on today. Win.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm with you. Well, Joey, this has been so lovely to have you on the show. Thank you so much for joining us and lending us your expertise, particularly of all things Robert Pattinson.
Thank you.
I'm happy that I can bring that today. Well, thanks for having me. It's so fun. I'm just getting to hang out with you guys.
I know. And as I mentioned at the top of the show, you, of course, can see Joey in our PAX Online panel on Monday, September 14th. But if they don't want to wait that long, Joey, where can they find you?
You can catch me over on youtube.com/kindafunny. I'm on Screencast every week, and then I'm joining the crew for Mulan in review for the animated one and the live action one that comes out next week. So I'll be on there all over the place.
Look at you taking over. Be on all of the Kind of Funny things. We got to get you on more Kind of Funny game stuff, I feel like.
I know. I just have play like such specific games.
You're like, once they're ready for Stardew Valley 2 reporter, you're in.
Yeah. If you want an entire Bug Snack show, I'm more than happy to oblige.
I have a feeling that's going to happen, knowing the proximity of one specific PR person who represents that game to one specific person who works at Kind of Funny Games.
I feel like that's probably doable.
Hashtag sponsored. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for us today. We will see you guys later. Bye, everybody.